What if we talked about women's rights?
Why?
Because we are equal, and that is a fact.
I agree. That is a fact. What if we talked about atoms?
Why?
We are patterns of energy and information. Scout. And life is truly magical.
Agreed.
Let's go. Hello, Scout Francesca. All right, how be ye?
Good. You?
Yeah, pretty good, thank you. I enjoyed our walk. It was a good stroll.
Yeah, it was. Mm-hmm.
It was nice that spring is upon us.
Exactly.
Hopefully.
Or as Lizzie McAlpine would say, spring into summer.
Oh, I get it because you're springing. Or
No.
how about this one then? How
No,
about
it's
this
a song by Lizzie McAlpine.
It's a banger.
Mm-hmm. It is.
How about this? Spring has sprung. Huh?
All right. Would you like to
Lots
introduce
to
my
cut out
topic
there,
or
eh?
no?
We're keeping that, are we?
Yeah.
The banter, the friendly banter.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're up, right? You want to talk about the rights of women or the lack of rights of women, more specifically?
Yep. So this has a story to it. I was scrolling, as one does, and I came across a video, and it said it said only 14 countries have full women rights, and the U.S. isn't one of them. And I was kind of shocked because I was like, really?
I'm less surprised the U.S. isn't one of them than I am that there's only 14.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So then just now I was doing some more investigation on it, and I wanted to know, what rights do they have? What rights do they not have? But more so, what rights don't they have? Like, what makes them a country that doesn't have full women's rights? So I got
Who's defining this? So this is like verified. That's
yeah, this
what I'm
is very
getting at.
verified.
This isn't like the bot didn't
I'm not
coming up with some things it wanted you to hear.
Right.
All right. Just because it's important that people realize that you actually have legit sources here. That was all I was getting at, because this is crazy, man.
Right. So I found a bullet point, like a list of the rights that the women in the U.S. don't have, which is a crazy sentence because all women should have every right that they deserve, which is all of them. So
yeah, to me, it should be non-negotiable, right?
Yeah, so here's the list. Bodily autonomy and reproductive rights. So obviously that would include like abortions.
Yeah, that's the big one, yeah.
Right. So that, which is
a pretty big one, the right to make decisions about your own person.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Your body.
Yeah, that's... Yeah.
Legal enforcement of equality, while laws against workplace discrimination are unequal pay exist, they are often difficult to enforce. Women continue to face a gender pay gap, earning approximately 84% of what men earn, and face higher risk of job discrimination related to pregnancy and caregiving. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, a pay gap is just...
So these countries, the other 14 countries they have what would be considered total equality between men and women. Like, there's no discriminatory laws. There's no, like, men and women it's enforced that they receive the same pay for the same job.
Right.
This kind of thing, right?
Exactly. Protection from harm. Women face insufficient legal recourse against sexual violence and domestic abuse, with rape often going unprosecuted, and inadequate federal laws prohibiting female genital mutilation. The last bullet point is social and economic security. So women are disproportionately affected by poverty and lack guaranteed paid maternity leave, as the Federal Family and Medical Leave Act only provides unpaid time off, forcing many into economic insecurity. So while a woman is pregnant, their most vulnerable time in most women's life, where they probably can't, in a job, they need to be able to provide for their child. But if you're sending them onto an unpaid maternity leave, there's not much they can do with that. Like, they're not only are they pregnant, they're not working, and they're not getting paid for it.
That's crazy. I mean, you're essentially being punished for having children. Exactly.
But then they want you. But then they don't give you the choice to be able to not keep the baby. So it's so like
Oh yeah, you're going down and you're going opening another door there. Yeah. No, they get it all ways.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a patriarchy, isn't it? It's men making decisions, and the maternity leave one's a business decision. Like, it's an easy way for people to weasel out of helping with the rest of society. I'm assuming those other 14 countries that are listed, like for things like that, they'd have very proactive policies in place for pregnancies. I know in Canada, they even have maternity leave for dudes, for the fathers.
Wow.
Because they've recognized that it takes a village, and it certainly takes two parents if you want to do a really good job. And you would think in America, it's a little bit, it's a little sad actually that America isn't on that list. So what's the list?
The list is Belgium, Canada, Denmark, France, Germany, Greece, Iceland, Ireland, Latvia, Luxembourg, the Netherlands, Portugal, Spain, and Sweden.
Oh man, like England's not on that list either.
I know.
The England and the US are huge.
I know.
Big glaring what?
I know.
That's pathetic.
That should kind of be an eye opener.
It's just pathetic.
So, I mean, there's no reason for every place in the world to not have equal rights.
Again, you can see why some places may still be
maybe culturally or religiously or something like that.
We can't just, every tribe on earth does not roll the way we do.
For sure.
But any country that is
like America and England?
Yeah, America and England. I mean, come on, man. Because all of those other countries you named, they're all mostly European countries. And I mean, yes, the world is lagging behind in this. It's disgusting. But it's way more disgusting that it's in America and England than it is in places in Africa or Asia. Yeah. Like, it's insane. It's insane everywhere, but there's no reason for it at all. There's no cultural reasons that it would be not available, that women and men would not be completely equal, or women wouldn't have the availability of every kind of right.
Right. So now that we've gone over the U.S. and what rights women don't have, there's also another end of the spectrum where it's just, like, horrible. The worst country in the world for women's rights is Afghanistan. I've brought together a list of rights that they don't have, but they don't have any really, but the worst ones. Education ban. Girls are not allowed to go to school in any way, shape, or form.
To give America their due, when they were in Afghanistan trying to do whatever, for whatever nebulous reasons, one of the huge benefits of their presence was that they did change things for women and girls in Afghan society hugely.
Yeah, like for the better.
Women could have businesses, women had some autonomy, girls could go to school. So America did do that. And then when America pulled out, it reverted back to this horror show that you're describing.
Yeah. So, education and employment bans. So women can't work or go to school, which is not right. Freedom of movement in public life. So women and girls are not allowed to travel more than 75 kilometers without being accompanied by a male guardian.
I'll bet you the reality is that 75 kilometers is probably not even true.
Yeah.
They probably can't go 75 feet.
I'm sure that's the law, but that doesn't mean that
not
that's
the reality.
Yeah. Public space bans. Women are banned from entering parks, gyms, public bathrooms, and sports clubs. They're also prohibited from using public transportation alone. And they must avoid interacting with unrelated men. And legal protection and safety. No legal recourse.
Nothing.
None.
And they stone people there, I think, still.
What is that?
Literally what it sounds like. Punishment is people chuck rocks at you, stones at you until you're dead.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's gross.
Yeah.
Forced marriage. So the rise in poverty has led to an increase in child and forced marriages because girls and women are doing anything they can to be protected and be off the streets. So that's exactly what it is. Child
can't
and
even imagine,
women are being married off.
I mean, that just got to be a horror almost all the time. What are the chances they get lucky and get some caring, good person, a guy? Almost zero.
Yeah. And criminal prosecution. So basically there are no repercussions for harming or hurting a woman in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
So, yeah, those are the... Yeah, all because I came across a TikTok saying that only 14 countries in the world have female rights.
That was, I mean, I knew that it was not worldwide.
Yeah, but to hear that it's only 14 is...
Yeah, like, that's just crazy. And then to really think that America is not on the list.
And to put that into perspective, if you don't know how many countries there are in the world, there's 181. So go ahead and do the math there.
It's pathetic. It's pathetic. It's just pathetic.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just ridiculous.
My dad's a proper feminist.
Well, that's not even that I'm a feminist. To me, it's just I'm just a logical person.
Yeah.
Like I know lots of women. The women are in no way, shape, or form less than men. It's just ridiculous. It's just stupid. It's just stupid. And I find it really annoying. It really, really, really bothers me.
Well, you're also a girl dad.
Huh?
You're also a father of a young girl. So...
Oh, of course, that plays into it too. But long before you came along, this is how I felt. Like, it's just dumb. It's dumb. More than that's Irish. I grew up with 3 sisters.
Yeah,
I have
exactly.
3 sisters, man. It's just stupid.
Very.
It's just ignorant, and it's indicative of how far we have to go.
It really is. All right. You would like to talk to us about atoms.
Yes, because we were looking at the swimming squirrels, and it made you were asking about atoms. You know, is everything made up of atoms? And
how do we know what atoms are?
Yeah, and I was bumbling along with the description for you, although it was fairly accurate. There was some bumbling, so it made me think, well, what is it we do know about them? What's changed in our understanding since I was a kid, or, even before that, thousands of years before that? So I went on a little atom hunt. Originally, it was ancient Greece, a guy named Democritus, and you can be sure that he had something to do with democracy, I'm guessing, but I didn't go down that rabbit hole, but I'm assuming.
Of course, his name is Democritus, too.
It's such a Greek name, isn't it? Democritus.
Yeah.
So
cool name.
Basically, he ended up calling him uncuttable. Atomos in Greek means uncuttable. So his theory was that if you kept cutting an object in half, eventually you'd reach a particle that was uncuttable. And that would be what we're constructed of.
That's so cool.
Yeah, the atoms were just solid individual. This is like 400 BC, right?
Yeah, thousands of years ago.
2,400 years ago or so, give or take, right? And
only?
Yeah, only. Oh man, we're young, man. We are very, very close to just slapping handprints on the cave wall. We're not that far from that. As much as we'd like to think we are, when every year we put out a new iPhone and we feel like that's progress.
A new shade of purple.
So, yeah, exactly. So that was his theory. So atoms were solid, indivisible spheres, and the only thing that changed was their shape and size. Around the same time, Aristotle disagreed. He believed that matter was a continuous thing that he called heil, which essentially he thought that matter was a potentiality that received a form, right? Some kind of weird otherness. But he specifically believed it was made of earth, air, fire, and water, which we've disproven. But the idea that it's some kind of otherness is actually very much what quantum sciences have come up with today, modern physics, through concepts like energy fields and the equivalence of matter and energy. It supports this idea that Aristotle had, really, that physical reality comes from some kind of a common underlying, substrate that can take on different forms. A thing we don't really understand, and that's kind of where we are.
Yeah.
We don't really understand. So that was 400 BC. Then modern theory was like in the 1800s, there was a dude named John Dalton, and he kind of made it from philosophy into science by doing some experiments. And then he noticed things about the atoms, and so that sort of starting to take it away from the realm of speculation of just guys pondering like we were doing by the pond, just pondering the construct of everything. And then in the early 1900s, late 1800s, technology started allowing us to actually look inside the atom, the ball.
Yeah.
So it was no longer just like some idea of a
confirmed.
solid. It was something we could look inside. That led to the electron being discovered, a guy named J.J. Thomson. It's part of the atom. They discovered that the atom wasn't just like, okay, here's a solid ball.
Yeah.
Essentially, it was the theory right up until then. And he realized that they weren't solid, but that they had charges embedded in them. Like, we don't need to get in the weeds about all of that, especially since I'm definitely not an expert on it. But that's the theory, right? Like, now it's no longer solid. That's what you got to take away from it. That they realized that it wasn't just a solid. And then Ernest Rutherford figured out by shooting particles at a thin sheet of gold that most of them pass through, but some bounce back. So this kind of proved that an atom is mostly empty space with a tiny, dense core that he called the nucleus. So now we have atoms that have gone from just being like a solid ball, imagine, like a pool ball, a billiard ball or something. And now it's something that's not solid, like it has this empty space. But what it has is these charges running around in it. Really, we haven't come that much further from that. We've just had a better understanding of how the charges work, what the, protons, electrons, what they're constructed of. Niels Bohr was a famous physicist, and he kind of refined this model. He said that the electrons don't float around, but they orbit it, the nucleus. So that's what we thought for a long time. But quantum mechanics has changed that. And so now we think the electrons are less little dots on a track that you can fix, but more just moving. That we don't know exactly where these electrons are. So there's no way of actually measuring them. And that's where we are really today, is that we don't know.
Right.
We know that they're there, but we're not exactly sure how they work. So essentially what you have today is it's a cloud. We're made up of little clouds, like regions of space where the electron might be.
Yeah, that's cool.
And it's just kind of bipping around. And so imagine what you're made up of, what I'm made up of, what the desk is, the computer is little subatomic particles that are just sort of a cloud.
Right.
Cloud of probability.
I saw a video and it was a guy on the bus and he was like, day 12 of trying to make my atoms align to make my hand go through the wall. Because apparently there's like a 0.11111 chance. And one of the comments was, there's a higher chance that a neutron star forms in your room than your hand aligns with the particles in the wall.
That's such nerd talk. Yeah.
It's like, so there's a higher chance that a nebula black hole forms in your basement than your hand going through the wall.
That's the math of it too, right? The denser the cloud, the more solid a thing appears. So we're pretty dense, but we're a bit squishy. Yeah. A rock is super dense. So the electron cloud that it's made up of, the little particles, they're so packed together tight that it appears to be really, really solid. What happens when you touch something or I touch something? There's a repulsion. The way our energy essentially reacts with the energy of a wall or a rock or something, they repulse. And so that's what gives the effect, the perception that there's a solidity, is because the things are actively repelling. So the denser a thing is like a rock, the more powerful its repelling powers are. So the more it resists you breaking it or carving into it or anything else.
Oh, I see. So
it's almost like it's in a way it's an illusion of being solid. It's really cool.
So hand can't go through the wall?
No, it can't because of the, I forget the guy's name. There's a principle that it's based on why you can't go through a wall essentially is, and it's based on it's mostly based on what I said, is that the two objects repel. So when you touch something, you touch the table and your hand are acting to repulse each other. So it feels like it's solid because it's literally pushing away. The two things are pushing away from each other. They're not allowing the other one to enter. So putting your hand through the wall, like oozing it through the wall. No, man, that's sci-fi right now, anyhow. But there are things. So everything is basically made of atoms. That was the question, right?
Yeah.
Is everything made of atoms? Everything material is. But the thing that's cool is that only 5% of the universe, they figure, is made of ordinary matter.
I don't want to think about that.
Yeah, so 95% of the universe is not made of atoms, the stuff of us and everything around us. And the thing is, the other 95% is dark matter. About 30% they figure, which they
We
know
don't know
nothing
what
about.
dark matter is.
No. And dark energy, 68%, not 70%.
Do we know
which
what
they
that
know,
is?
No, nothing.
Oh, awesome.
They know it's a mysterious force driving the expansion of the universe. Yeah. That's what. So we call it dark matter, and we're like, yeah, but we don't know what it is. So essentially, 95% of what the universe is made up of, we have no idea about.
It's like when I was like 10 years old and I came across a TikTok that was like, have you heard of the Great Attractor? And then I went down like a 2-hour rabbit hole of it, and I'm pretty sure I cried myself to sleep that night. Because you're telling me we're moving like hundreds of kilometers an hour towards a thing that we don't know what it is? Pulling us? And everything else in the universe?
I feel like that's the least of our worries though right now, Scout Francesca.
Are you sure?
Yeah, pretty sure.
Yeah, one day all of our galaxies will collide.
Yeah, but you know what? That's just this is what's gonna happen there.
I don't want to be here when that happens.
Yeah, you probably won't be. Don't worry about it.
My granddaughter could be here when that happens. I don't care.
I don't think so. I think it's a long way in the future. We'll have extinguished our light long before then, and some other light will have arisen. That's what'll happen.
Yeah, you're not worried enough about this.
No, I'm not. So light and radiation, subatomic particles.
The Great Attractor.
Neutrinos are not atomic. You know, neutrinos are cool. They come like from the sun, and they can go right through the earth. I love that. The idea that a neutrino can go right through the earth from one side to the other. That's freaking cool. There's your going through a wall concept, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. Oh, and
nice.
for you, plasma and neutron stars, they're not made up. They have no atomic structure either because of their extreme environments.
Oh, they don't?
No, because they're extreme environments, right? Like the sun is a plasma environment. Mm-hmm. So it just creates like a soup of electronic charged particles, really.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have an atomic structure. And neutron stars.
Since we're on the topic of space, I just have a fun little fact. We're actually really lucky to be around while Saturn has its rings, because it's kind of rare, seeing as it's eating its rings right now. It's literally swallowing the rocks from its rings.
Yum, yum.
Yeah, exactly. And so we're pretty lucky to be around while Saturn has all of its rings.
While Saturn is feasting?
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure it would take like a couple years to get to Saturn. Well, a couple years ago, Saturn ate a rock, and if you look through a telescope, you could see it eating the rock right now.
Yeah, with its giant Saturn teeth.
Mm-hmm. Saturn's a mean planet.
Neutron stars, they don't have atomic structure either, because the gravity's so intense that the atoms are just crushed together until you have nothing but a ball of pure neutrons. Yeah. Neutron star.
Neutron
there
star.
You go. Yeah.
All right.
Nerd Festival.
What if time? It's not really a what if. It's more of a question.
It's not really a what if.
Can I answer first?
Yeah, of course.
So the question is, which is harder to understand? That women are still largely not equals, or that we are made of electron clouds? Sadly, I think that it's harder to understand that we are made of electron clouds. Very sadly, I think. Yeah. I think it's been normalized. I think there's not enough focus on the fact that women don't have rights. I think it's a lot of people find it hard to understand that we're made of electron clouds. I think a lot of people would have a really hard time understanding that, especially people like, flat earthers or...
Yeah.
For me, it's harder to understand that women are still largely not equal. I think that a lot of the world would say the opposite, because it's so normalized that women aren't seen as equals, or that they aren't looked at the same way as men are.
Yeah.
So that's my answer to that.
Originally, I thought, well, the electron clouds is because it's more of an abstract,
scientific.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's impossible to actually envision that I'm walking around solid, I bonk my knee on something, and the pain is excruciating. So, and you're trying to tell me, well, no, buddy, all you are is a collection of, oscillating stuff. That was my first reaction. But for me personally, it's not that hard to understand. Like, I get the abstract nature of that. Like, it makes sense to me that that's what we are, because I know that we're matter and probably can't be created or destroyed, but it can change, it can transform. So all of that is like, yeah, right, that's as good an explanation as any. The women thing, not being equal, that one's hard for me to understand because it's just so, as I said earlier, it's just so stupid. And it's not because I'm particularly a feminist. I'm not even sure what that means. Like I think that's just one of those terms that's been thrown around now and is so mutated that it has almost no meaning anymore. It just means whatever you want it to mean. I'm not anything-ist. I'm just saying it's dumb. It's just dumb. It makes no sense. It makes zero sense that anybody who's sentient would think that a man is better than a woman. It's just the same as racism.
Yeah.
Like, it's just as stupid as racism. The idea that because somebody is different than you, they're somehow less than you is just about as ignorant as ignorance can get. That's how I feel about it. So that one for me is really hard to understand because all you have to do is meet 10 women in your life and 10 men. And you should be able to come to the conclusion that some women are morons and suck at everything, and some dudes are morons and suck at everything, and some women are amazing at everything, and some men are amazing at everything. Like, it's to me, it has no bearing on what your sex is. It's just what you're capable of doing.
Right.
And women are just as capable as men. So to me, that's the end of that.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, it's harder to believe that women aren't equal. Sadly, though, I don't think that would be the
case for...
If you did a poll and every single person on Earth had to answer, I think the majority of people would say that it is harder to believe that we are made of small, little cloud particles.
Which I
Sadly.
guess, fair enough, I could understand people answering that. I just... Personally, I can wrap my head around one and I can't wrap my head around the other.
Yeah,
So I get it. Most people would be able to be like, hey, buddy, of course women are treated badly. What's your problem here? But that's not my point. Is that I'm not saying I'm confused that they're treated badly. I'm saying I don't understand.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, Miss Kajang.
All right.
Episode the
77th.
77th. Wow, you're right.
I love you.
I love you. Next time.
Oh, Jinx.
Oh.
Jinx, you owe me Coke.
Mm-hmm.